What's my cue?
Hey bestie, it's Kati Wasserman. I am a mom, an esthetician, the owner of Flagstaff Skincare Med Spa, and Prickly Bear Skincare, a post-hair removal line. I started Beauty Talk Confessions because honestly, I got tired of how fake the beauty industry can feel. The conversations that happen between wax strips, peels, and facials that no one ever talks about publicly, we are gonna go there. So grab your coffee, get comfy, and let's peel back the layers, one confession at a time. Welcome to Beauty Talk Confessions, where the secrets come out and the glow gets real. Welcome back to Beauty Talk Confessions. I'm your host, Kati Wasserman, and today's episode is going to remind you of how powerful it is when a woman trusts her vision and builds something of her own. Maggie took a simple beauty school assignment, a dream of your own spa project, and she turned it into a real business that she runs today. Maggie's journey started in cosmetology at 18 and took a detour through life's messy lessons and eventually led her back to what she truly loved, skincare. From navigating burnout and misalignment in her early career to finding a product line that genuinely transformed reactive skin to launching her spa while juggling pregnancy, postpartum, and the wild reality of building a business with two babies under 2, Maggie's story is both powerful and incredibly relatable. Whether you're a new esthetician or a seasoned pro or a mama trying to balance passion with real life, this is a conversation filled with heart, resilience, and a reminder that this industry is so much more than just skin. This episode is one you do not want to miss. All right, let's dive into our conversation with Maggie. Hi, I'm Kati Wasserman, and this is another episode of Beauty Talk Confessions. I have with me today Maggie Bauer, the owner of Novum Skin, and I'm so excited to chat with her today.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here with you.
Thank you. So I want to kind of take it back to the beginning, and I'd love for you to let everyone know kind of where this all started and how you got into skincare and got kind of your spark to open your own space.
Yeah, absolutely. So funny story. It actually started years ago. So I've been in the beauty industry since like 2015, 2016. And I actually started as a cosmetology student, which is really interesting because I was really young. I was, oh my gosh, I don't even know. I think I was a fresh 18 at the time. So I was still in that really like crazy transitional part in life. And it was just crazy. So I was like fresh out of high school, was in, beauty school. And it actually started as an assignment, was like, hey, dream up your own, your own spa or whatever. And so at that point it was salon. And so I did, and Novum was like this idea that I had created back then. And then I made some really incredibly dumb decisions as a teenager, as one does, and was like, I don't want to do hair anymore, so I'm going to go off and do my own thing. And so I did that for a couple years. And when I finally came back to like, okay, this is what I really love doing. I was not a fan of hair, but I loved skincare. Like it was just something that I always had a passion for. It was like what I was excited the most to learn. And so I circled back around and decided to go and pursue my aesthetic license. And so that is what I went ahead and did. At the time, I was working for a local spa here in Castle Rock. And during that time, I actually fell pregnant with my first child and with my son. And things just kind of progressed, and it got to the point where like things weren't necessarily aligning with the spa that I was at. I didn't really have the passion for the product that they carried, and I just wasn't necessarily feeling like fulfilled in the role that I was in. And so I came to a crossroads essentially, and it was, all right, well then you can either go and try and fill that at a different salon or spa, or you can take the leap to do it on your own. And, I really had to sit and think about it. And then a couple of things just fell into place, such as like the product line that I am in love with and actually had at that point been waiting for it to come over to the US, had reached out to me. And so I took it as my sign to just go for it. And so that is what I did. And so that's where Novum came from. The idea, obviously stemming from that original school assignment, which is crazy. I kind of giggle about that. But then it truly kind of carried over into my belief in because Novum means new in Latin. And so I really wanted to adhere to the belief that I have that of being created new, you still yourself, but being a completely new person and starting this new journey with your skin. So that is kind of where Novum came from.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And I love the name and how that really is fully rounded to your story.
Yeah.
A few things that you said that I am connected to. I actually recently was going through some of my own files and saw the same assignment from my beauty school, and they pulled it out. And I started also as a cosmetologist and was getting a little bit burned out. I'm not sure where your space was, but my space that I worked at, you had to assist for so long to be able to actually touch somebody.
Yeah.
And it was really just depressing, going to school, getting all this confidence and feeling okay, I'm ready to shine and show the world. And then having this cloud over you that's now there's another step, which it's exciting and rewarding. But for me, and it sounds like for you, it was just not the right step for us,
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so, yeah. Well, and I feel so you started in hair and then you shifted over to working at the salon. How long were you there before you kind of got this spark that okay, these products aren't working for me. I have to now decide either I'm going to go find somewhere else or do this new avenue, which you obviously have done and you're very successful with.
So that time, honestly, it feels like such a long time that I was there, but in reality, it really wasn't. I was there for maybe a year and a half. And I'm sure that there are probably people who can relate to this, that you get into a space and I loved working there. My coworkers were amazing. I love my boss. They were really, really wonderful people. It was just that it was more of a relaxation focused kind of spa versus a result driven. And so I was really missing that the purpose behind what I was doing. I love helping people relax and treating them, but it was not feeding me that I want you to see growth in your skin and that change in your skin. And so so about that time I kind of looked at my head esthetician and I was like, I just don't think that this is for me.
Yeah. So, well, I love that you realized that so soon, because that's something really hard to be in the industry and continuing working for people and have that kind of be chattering in the back of your mind.
Yep, for sure.
Oh, well, I love that. Take me through the process for you. So once you decided to open Novum, you mentioned that it's Essie, right? For skincare.
So it's called S. I called it Essie the first time too.
Okay.
And there's a joke in my family about all the pronunciations of it. But yes, it is called S.
Okay. I love that. Okay. So S, and you said that S reached out to you. Was this a company that you were kind of watching? How did you discover them?
Yeah. So I discovered them while I was actually still in school for my aesthetics, because I've always known that I wanted to do something different, bring something different to people that they've never really seen before. And you hear of all the main lines here in the US. And I felt like at that point I had tried so many, and I am someone who has extremely reactive and sensitive skin. And so I would order all these trial kits from all of these well-known organic brands or certified organic brands here in the US, and my skin hated them. All of them. It took me probably close to a year to cycle through all of the different brands that I tried so that I could give myself the time to actually get to test the products out, because you're supposed to. And so then upon hours and hours of research, I was okay, I know what I like, what I don't like. These are the standards that I want to adhere to with the skincare that I want to bring into my studio. And S popped up, and at the time I actually ended up emailing one of their reps and was like, is there any way that you guys ship over to the US? And at that point in time, they didn't. And so they emailed me back and they're like, we're so sorry, we don't have a distributor here in the US or over in the US yet. And I was like, well, dang it. And they're like, do you want us to put you on a list? And I was like, yes, please do. I'm incredibly intrigued by what you have to offer. And so then Um, about the time that I was like feeling kind of just like ready to transition out of the job that I was in, that is actually when I received the email that they had got a warehouse in New Jersey. And so I was over the moon. I was so excited. I was really excited to try some of their products. And so the first thing that I actually tried was like their sensitive trial kit. And my skin loved it. Absolutely loved it. I mean, like I had never experienced such a drastic change in such a short amount of time with my skin, which was crazy to me. And because I am someone with incredibly sensitive and incredibly like reactive skin, it was really exciting to get to see like results and just my skin felt happy. So at that point, I was like, you know what? That's it. That's what I want to do. It's what I want to bring in because their approach to skincare is really like honestly, I think it's the most unique take on skincare that I personally have ever seen. So it was
Okay.
just a very exciting time for me. That's why I decided to bring him in.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And so were you one of the first practices in the US to have them?
I was. I think at the time that I had like decided to launch and to open, I was like the 7th in the US.
So cool.
Which is crazy. Yeah, it was really, really cool. And they're an amazing team to work with. So they've just been great. So
I love that.
yeah.
Well, and I actually did a little research of them as I was checking you out, and they seem like such an amazing company and have
Mm-hmm.
ongoing education and
Mm-hmm.
really definitely what I was seeing with your name, Novum, which means new, it kind of backs that up for everything. And I feel like it really is a perfect company for you to have.
Yeah, yeah. I am in love with it. I'm like a diehard S girl now, which is so funny. But yeah, they're an amazing company. They're like an award-winning overseas, which was like a really big that was things that was super important to me is that I know that the US has different standards versus like overseas products. And so
Yeah.
the fact that they adhere to like Cosmos standards is amazing to me because it means that like they are incredibly picky about what goes into the product. And they're also, and Trevor, he actually recently just passed, which is really sad, but he was the founder of the company. He was very passionate about having a sustainable company as well. And I think that his company really reflects the way that his heart was, which I think is just so incredibly important because it really just puts the humanity back into skincare. So yeah.
I love that. Well, and I can tell you're so passionate about it.
Yeah.
I can see how excited you get about it, and I love that. That's
Yeah.
definitely something that I love seeing in the skincare world, and I'm excited. I want to try it out. I'm interested about it
You
now.
should. It's so good.
Yeah. One thing you mentioned is their philosophy is different than any other company you mentioned. When I was checking them out, it was a lot about like the microbiome
Mm-hmm.
and everything like that. So can you go into a little bit about that and what you like? I don't know, a little more detail. I know about the microbiome, but just for maybe listeners that don't know as much about microbiome and really what this can do for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So your microbiome, to kind of understand what S does, you have to understand what your microbiome is first. So they categorize themselves as professional grade microbiome skincare. So your microbiome is basically this massive ecosystem of microbial life that live on your skin. And they are responsible for like 90% of what happens with your skin.
Okay.
And so if your microbiome is out of whack, the chances are is that you are going to be seeing all kinds of issues arise in your skin, such as like sensitivities, rosacea, acne, premature aging. And so if you can address the gaps that are in your microbiome, then you can address the issues that you're seeing that are popping up in your skin. And so their whole approach is because their kind of philosophy is that they take you back to the hunter-gatherer days. And they kind of go into this and explain it a little bit, is that we were all born with like this very robust and very diverse flora of microbes on our skin when we lived outside because we were
Yeah.
exposed to everything, like we were in dirt, we were in constant contact with nature, and we just let our bodies do what our bodies are meant to do. And then as the human race evolved, our lifestyles changed drastically. And so instead of being a species that were outside, we're inside more often, and we're not in the sun as often, and we're not coming in contact with nature as much. And so because of that, it has actually impacted the microbes that live on our skin. And so the type of like the diversity in them has become less, as well as our skin's ability to adapt, if that makes sense. And so where S comes in is that they come in and they use living probiotics. If I am right in this, as last time I checked, they are the first company to use certified living probiotics, which is crazy. That's absolutely crazy, because living probiotics actually go onto your skin and repopulate and fill in those gaps that are missing in your microbiome. So they basically help create that solid shield that your skin needs in protection.
That's so cool. I
It's
love
really
that.
cool.
And
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and that's really cool to have something like that, because we understand probiotics for our gut and everything like that. But now to have it on the face is remarkable.
Yeah, it's really cool. There's a lot of people don't really understand, like they hear about like your gut microbiome and probiotics and all that stuff. But there's actually like the three biggest areas in your body that the microbiome is most important. It's going to be your gut, it's going to be your lungs, and it's going to be your skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And definitely the skin is one of our biggest vessels. It is the biggest
Yep.
like muscular tissue vessel that we have. And
Yep.
so I love that.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's such an, if people are interested in learning more about it, they should look into the Human Microbiome Project. I think it took place in 2011. And Trevor Stern, he was or Stein, he was the he took part in that. And what they do is they do a deep dive into what the microbiome actually does on the skin. And it's just incredible. It's worth reading.
Yeah. Well, and that's so cool to have something that effectively works for you, that you're not just like slapping on your face. And and for you, it sounds like it was the first product that wasn't reactive, and you have gorgeous skin. So I love, hearing about this.
Thank you.
Amazing.
It's very exciting.
So with your business and your journey, also having a kiddo and starting it and everything like that, what are some other challenges that you faced while you started out?
Just in general?
I would say at the business, and in general, just kind of as a new business owner transitioning from working for somebody else.
Yeah, it was definitely hard because like I said, the spa that I worked for wasn't necessarily there for result-driven facials. It was more of a relaxation focus. So I really had to dive into ingredient knowledge, which was huge, because I feel like any successful esthetician anywhere needs to be able to know their ingredients like the back of their hand. And especially when it relates to the product line that they bring in. And so honestly, that was a huge shift for me personally, because the ingredients in the line that I brought on they're so incredibly different than what we see in traditional skincare, because everything has to be nourishing the microbiome. It has to be something that your microbes can feed on while also targeting skin conditions. And so trying to kind of go in and break down, especially because S is from South Africa. And so that translation difference that was incredibly difficult for me. But that was just like bringing on my line as the business in itself, trying to start a business from scratch. I had zero clientele when I went into this. It was really difficult. It was incredibly difficult. I had to really put myself out there, had to get involved with the community, and I am an introvert. I really am. I do really well with people one-on-one in large groups, and trying to market myself, that is something that I really struggle with. And so having to put yourself out there to talk to people about this incredibly abstract idea and new way to look at skincare was very, very hard. But it ended up working out. It worked out really great. Every client that comes through my door for skin ends up leaving and being absolutely in love with the way that they feel. And then they end up taking home a product and they're like, you know what, you've got me hooked. I'm never leaving. So that's been really difficult, as well as like starting a business with my kiddo, balancing Because I'm a glutton for punishment. I had a 10-month-old, or at the time that my son was 10, he was 6 months when I started. And at 10 months, I got pregnant again. And
Oh my gosh.
so I was like going through all the crazy hormonal pregnancy stuff while starting, postpartum stuff. And then I started a business. And then so I was wiped out. I was so exhausted trying to navigate how to become a new mom, how to be a new business owner. And then I got pregnant again. And then it was like, boom, okay, here's all the pregnancy hormones. So it was a really, really crazy ride. Um, but that was honestly my biggest struggle, was just like trying to work-life balance and then also trying to figure out how to grow and educate those about my business and bring people in. So that was the biggest part. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. That sounds like just such a, yeah, you were like had everything piling on with itself.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then, yeah. Did you take maternity leave at all with your second one, or how did you kind of navigate
No.
that? Oh,
With my second one,
yeah.
so I took like I had a C-section. And so I needed to take those like mandatory 6 weeks. But then I came back into work extremely part-time. And my clients were all wonderful because obviously I was huge while I was like working on them when I was pregnant with her. And they're genuinely, I love my clients. They're the sweetest, most kind, just people that I've ever met. And so they are
Mm,
incredibly understanding when I did have to take that break. But also from my business standpoint, as it's only me because I am a solo, I
yeah.
really needed to prep them beforehand because I did have that 6 week gap. So I needed to be back to work at that 6 week mark. And then I also needed to let them know, you need to come in this week so that we can get you sorted and get you through the next 6 weeks until you can come in and see me again. So that is incredibly important from a standpoint of like recovery. And then what I did
Wow.
was that I came in part-time, like 1 to 2 days a week, and I would just stack my days full and then I would get through all my clients. So yeah.
Amazing. Oh my gosh. Well, that is amazing that you did that, and definitely really rewarding too, because
Yeah.
I also have two kiddos and I took off with my first one similar amount of timeline, and my second one I'm still kind of in a maternity leave right now. I'm there like 4 hours a week, and it's been really hard for me to
Yeah.
rebuild my clientele, and I'm trying to just live in the moment, but I am inspired by that drive that you have. And yeah, that's just really rewarding and so smart for you to set your clients up too, so that there was no
Mhm.
way that they would go anywhere else, and also felt nurtured during that time and giving
Yeah.
you that time to nurture your baby.
Yeah. And, the biggest piece of advice that I can give is just give yourself grace because being a mom is hard. And I have my two are really close together. I have, my 1-year-old and my 2-year-old. And at the time that my daughter was born, he wasn't even 2 yet. And so being a toddler mom and then bringing on a newborn and dealing with everything postpartum, it's really hard. So like giving yourself grace and like weaning yourself back into work is important, and doing what you need to do, like what's best for you. And just because if you're not there, you can't fully show up for your clients. So,
So true.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank Well, I love that.
Quick pause before we keep going. If you're enjoying this episode, make sure to follow Beauty Talk Confessions and show some love by leaving a quick review or rating, and share this with someone you think you would enjoy it. That's how this space grows. This episode is sponsored by Prickly Bear Wax and Skincare, launching this summer. You can join our email list at pricklybear.com, BARE, to get early updates and pre-launch discounts. All right, back to the conversation.
So I'd love to know, so did you start off just doing facials? Because I was checking out everything that you offer. I know that you do some waxing, some brow lamination. Did you gradually like grow in those areas of offering services, or?
Yeah. So honestly, I started offering facials from the get-go. I knew that going in and opening up, I didn't want to have a massive menu because I was still
Mm,
growing and I didn't want to overwhelm myself. I am somebody who does believe in kind of niching down and really getting to know your craft and mastering your craft before you go into other areas. And so the two things that I knew that I wanted to do, because first of all, I always get compliments on my brows because I am a browaholic. I like it's just something that has been incredibly important in my life is my eyebrows and then skincare. So those were the two things that I focused on. So as I was building my clientele, I would start out like they would come in for a facial and, it was just basic relaxing facials. Because that's what I needed to do in order to get people through the door. And then we would gradually go into more targeted treatment facials, which was amazing. And then also the other thing that I kind of used, knowing that I wanted to specialize in skincare specifically, I would basically just do brows to fill my schedule and to get clients through my door. And so if I can get them through my door, I can then have that conversation with them of like, well, let's talk about your skincare. What are you doing? And then be able to have that time to go in depth with them. So then I can have, those crossover clients who cross over services. And so I would say a good 75% of my clients now at least book both skin and brows with me. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, and that's the best because you can kind of do it during the same service and yourself a little extra income, which is the best.
Absolutely. And now that my books are a little bit fuller, I'm able to kind of branch out and start exploring other advanced treatments, which I love. Like we just introduced our first treatment, targeted treatment chemical peel, which I love. And then I just brought a nano needling and I would like to bring in micro needling here soon, but we'll just kind of depends on how everything goes.
Oh, I love that. That's exciting. Yeah. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
With that being said, where do you see Novum going in the next 5 years? Are you wanting to kind of stay in the day spa or transition more to medical? Colorado's a little bit challenging and medical's hard to now all over the US. I was licensed in Colorado and I'm in Arizona and I'm considered a medical spa that has day spa services, but it's in the talks of what is going to be regulated. And so I'm as an owner, I don't know which direction I want to go. I'm kind of at the seat of my pants and loving what I do, but sometimes I'm okay, scaling down might be better.
Yeah, I think regulation is a huge part of how things are going to play out. I'm sure that that the US is in this really weird spot because it's all state dependent on what they're going to allow and what they're not going to allow. Yeah. Ideally, I would really like to walk that fine line of day spa and medical spa because there are some medical treatments that fall into medical aesthetics that I don't necessarily agree with, whereas there are some that I think can absolutely be utilized beautifully. It just kind of depends on the tool and how they're used. And so I am very picky about what services I want to bring into my spa. But I would eventually kind of like to be more of a hybrid. I feel like where I'm located, specifically in Castle Rock, we have a med spa on every corner here. We really, really, really do. And so, yes, absolutely. And so, being able to keep myself separate from them is something that's important to me. But also, while still being able to provide the results and the services that my clients want, And so, I really want to kind of stay in my lane, but also create a really beautiful kind of hybrid spa situation. So that would be my ideal outcome. I'm actually getting ready to move into a new location next week, which is crazy, just to kind of better serve my clients, to provide a better client experience and to be able to offer more services, which is really exciting. And then I plan on being there in that location for the foreseeable future. And then I'm actually partnering up with a permanent makeup artist, and we're looking in for some other professionals to come into the space as well. Just growing from there. Eventually, I would really love to be able to maybe bring on an employee or a contractor who could work with me, because I think a community is incredibly important. And so just trying to cultivate that and create that. So
I love that. That's so exciting. And it sounds like that's happening. It's going to be happening before you know it next week.
Yeah.
And
It's going to be really good.
Oh my gosh. Well, I can't wait to see really what happens with it and everything like that. And also for you to grow your team, that sounds like something really fun for you.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So it's going to be great.
I love that. Well, I would love to know, with everything and having kids, how has motherhood shaped the way that you've approached beauty and business?
Oh my gosh, it's changed so much for me. It really, really, really has. like a severely profound change in my view of the beauty industry. For me personally, my journey, I feel like mine was a little bit unconventional. My beginning into skincare and kind of where I'm at now. So as I said, I got pregnant with my son as I was working with this other spa, and my babies were very close in age, and they were quite like back to back essentially. And this was all happening while my business was running. And I would even say that from my outlook from when I opened my business to now, it's drastically changed. So when I first opened, like I said, I was 6 months pregnant. And then 4 months later, I got pregnant again. And there was a lot of conflicting emotions there. There was a lot of like, oh my gosh, I have a baby at home and I'm pregnant again. And what am I going to do? And then there's a lot of, it's like mom guilt, and it's also overwhelming, and it's just, and there's like this weird joy that's mixed in there, and it was just crazy. And then like unexpectedly, I lost that pregnancy. And it was really tough. Thank you. It was really, really hard. And any woman who's ever been through that, I'm sure that there's no way to describe like the profound loss that you feel when you lose a pregnancy. And so then navigating, and there's hormones on top of that. And so navigating your emotions and then the hormonal shift with being like, I was still postpartum because I was, only had a baby 10 months prior to, got pregnant. The hormones from that pregnancy drop off because I lost the baby. It was hard. It was really, really, really hard. And then shortly after that, I found we lost the baby in January, and then I found out I was pregnant again in March.
Wow.
Talk about whiplash.
Yeah.
Honestly,
and still all through postpartum.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And to be completely honest, pregnancy was not something that came easy to me. It was something that I had to work towards just because of some health conditions. And so the fact that I got pregnant so quickly with my following 2 pregnancies was shocking. It was genuinely so incredibly shocking. And so I remember sitting there and like looking at that pregnancy test and just being like, I don't know whether to be sad or happy right now, because I feel guilty for not mourning the loss that I had, but I also feel guilty for not celebrating this new life. And so it was a hard pregnancy. That one was a really hard pregnancy, and continued to be hard until after I delivered. And getting through work and like trying to pour my energy into the business, it was a struggle because every ounce of what I had was going to my son and was going to my business. And so I definitely felt like I lost a little bit of myself in that, which is hard because you still have to show up for your clients, because that's at the end of the day, this is a job, and that's what you're supposed to do. And so it was really hard to navigate. I do think that I wish I would have given myself a little bit more grace during that time. That's why I say to just give yourself grace when you go through that, because it's really, really important. But after my daughter was born, I fell into like the worst postpartum depression that I ever experienced. And there were days where it was like I couldn't do anything right. I felt like the worst, low of the low, absolutely worthless. And then coming to my studio felt like the only thing that I could do right in the world. And so home was really hard for me because I had this baby that I was struggling with, and then I felt like I was failing my toddler as a mom, and I just felt like I wasn't being a super great wife. But then I would be able to come into work and I'd be like, this is where I'm meant to be. I know that I'm helping the people who come through my doors. And so when I say that my clients saved my life, I 100% mean it. Like, they genuinely helped me find myself again, which was so huge. They had no clue that they were doing that, but they really, really, really did. And if I can give back to my clients even just like a fraction of what they did for me, that is what I'm going to do. Whether it's through something as simple as a brow wax, or going through this complete like skin transformation, or even just providing a place that they can come and decompress, like that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do it at 110% because they deserve that. And my outlook, because of all that I went through, is that you really have to meet people where they are, and
Yeah.
that being in this industry isn't just strictly about vanity. It truly is about healing in so many ways, more than
Yeah.
just like physical and beauty, but like emotionally and spiritually as well. And so yeah, just meeting people where they're at, understanding that you'll never understand because you can never truly walk in somebody else's shoes.
No.
Never truly understand where they're at. So just showing up for them is so incredibly important. And it doesn't need to be in the biggest way possible, but just being there to help them love on themselves, no matter what service it is so incredibly important. So that is kind of where my take on the industry has shifted as a mother, and just like walking through motherhood has landed me here. And it was a really, really rough and hard journey to go through. It was really, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. But I'm very thankful for where I am and the mindset that I am in now.
I love that.
Thanks.
And I'm so sorry again for your loss. That's such a hard experience. But truthfully, as you share that story, it's so beautiful and something you are giving your clients that right now. Like you really like healed yourself as you are also being a guide and a healer for other people. And it's so amazing to hear your story. And I'm even getting chills hearing your clients like showing up for you. And you created that. You did that. And you are creating that right now. It's not something that you're striving for, like you've done it. And so I feel like you need to give yourself that as well, because your space and what I hear about it, like I want to come and experience a treatment with you. And I just, it's amazing. And also the fact that you really found that through those dark spaces and held on to that space for yourself, because some people, as beautiful as it is, having a business, it's so hard. And knowing that that's there, like, I'm so happy that you gave yourself that allowance to be a part of that and dive in and have that be your safe space.
Yeah. I know. I truly love what I do. And I don't think that a lot of people can say that, but like what I do is my third baby. And I mean that like with my whole heart. Like it is so intrinsically a part of who I am. And so I love it. And yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's great. I love what I do. So
I love that. Well, and that's like one of the reasons I really am excited to interview people like yourself, because I want to bring back the excitement of this industry. And we really wouldn't be doing what we're doing if we don't love what we're doing, but also having clients that we get to love on, because that's a part of it. Like you can love the industry, but then you really have to create the environment that you want to bring in the people, and you've done that. And it's so rewarding to see that in a response and be like, yes, like this is what people want and they want me and I'm doing it. And it makes you feel good. And I love that.
Yeah, it's, someone told me, and I do believe this, because, there are so many wonderful estheticians out there, and not every esthetician can offer a completely different service or whatever it is. Your service might be the reason that they come in, but you are the reason that they stay. It's what you provide to them as an individual. And that's like the most important part. And I think that it kind of gets lost in our industry a little bit. It's always what's the biggest and best new thing. And it's this race to see who can offer the fastest and best results or drastic results, instead of like taking that time to sit back and evaluate yourself and look internally and be like, what am I bringing to my clients? Why are they coming to me? And so I feel like that is incredibly important.
Well, I love that. And I love that you've learned that. And I feel like you would not have gotten that if you stayed at your last place or went somewhere else. So
nope, definitely not.
That's amazing. So we're getting to the point. I like to do something as we're kind of closing out, a little fun with my clients. I call it a hot or not series. And so it's part of why I love to send my guests a drink, especially today for me. It like feels so perfect because I'm actually sitting in my house and it's snowing outside right now, which is ridiculous.
I love it.
Yeah, it is really interesting having it be winter here, which is weird. We're in northern Arizona, so we get winter, but it's traditionally like it is in Colorado. I was in Denver prior to this, and it usually we don't get winter until like February. So I'm It's been a weird week.
Wow. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
weird for you then. Meanwhile, here
Yeah.
it's like 55 degrees. And
Oh my
sunny.
gosh. Well, and it's weird because I like some of the mountains in Colorado have already opened and they've gotten snow. So I'm like, we're whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like now I just say like Colorado and Arizona, we're an island. Like everything around the US is all a little island and
Yep.
it doesn't really know what it's doing.
Yeah, pretty much. It has a mind of its own. So
It really does. Okay, well, I still have a few more questions, but I like to kind of shake things up a little bit. So, what I want to do is it's going to be like a rapid fire question round. I'm still kind of playing around with it, but I'm really loving it. So I want to ask you 10 questions of trends that are going on right now, and I would love for you to rate it hot or not. And
okay.
yeah, and I've been really loving this because it's been interesting. Like as I've been interviewing people, what I am kind of assessing them as has been shocking a little bit when I've asked these questions, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so first one is going to be LED masks.
Hot. I love LED. I love LED.
Oh, no. Do you offer LED at your studio then as well?
I do. And my clients are obsessed. They love it.
It's honestly like one of the coolest things. And I've been licensed for 15 years and LED was like barely touched on when I was in my industry. And it's something like when it came out, I was hesitant. I'm like, what is this? Is it real? And we love high frequency at my spa. And then once we got LED, it was like, why have we not gotten this sooner?
Yeah, it's so great. It's so great. I love LED.
Perfect. We're on the same page with that one. Korean skincare.
I'm conflicted about this. It's really trendy right now. I think as with any skincare line, you really got to dig deep and figure out if there's actual good ingredients inside. So as a trend, maybe not, like, it's trendy. It's kind of one of those things that I feel like might fizzle out. But as like independently different companies, I definitely think that there are some really great products out there.
I love that. I kind of agree. It's been interesting as I've been like dipping my toes into it. And it's like, oh, this ingredient is beautiful. But like as an umbrella as a whole, like I feel like Korean skincare is interestingly in my mind. It almost is like sensitive skin. It's now like another category that we've like decided as like, I don't know, an area we can heal.
Yeah, exactly. No, 100%. I feel like using it as like an umbrella term and being like, how do you feel about it as a whole? It's hard to say because in reality, just like any other kind of line, it really depends on what it contains. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah,
totally. Well, and I like asking that because I have been having a lot of clients come in and they're like, what do you think? And I'm like, well, I buy it, but it like kind of depends. Like it really like some of these products are really poorly made and they're going to be very similar to your drugstore products. Some of these products are just amazing and their technologies blow my mind. But it was like, I don't know. It's like you said, it's an interesting thing. I'm excited to see if it starts to kind of break down as it's becoming popular and if people are take away the umbrella a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I am interested to see how the whole thing unfolds for sure.
Yeah, I love it. When it's so popular on like TikTok and everything else where I'm like,
yeah, I know. It's crazy. That's a whole thing. That is a conversation I have on the daily with my clients. So I totally get it.
Yes. Okay, amazing. Sleeping masks?
I mean, I think they're fine. I mean, I don't know. Maybe not, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I feel like a product can only do so much. You know what I mean? Like in a certain amount of time. I feel like if you're sleeping in it, you're just it's going to stop working at some point. So
totally. Well, the ones that I've been seeing that like make me excited, but also like make me crawl in my skin are I have some people come up on my Instagram and like they're like a mummy and then they like take it off. There's like a mask on their lips and all this stuff. I'm like, how are you sleeping like that? And also, what happens if there's an emergency or if a panic attack happens?
Yes, no, I know exactly. They're the jaw things that are supposed to like constrict. Yeah, I honestly don't know the science behind that, so I'd have to look into it more. I just kind of see it and I'm like, that looks uncomfortable, and like I would get crazy claustrophobic. But yeah,
that's right.
Each her own.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's where I am. And I agree with you. It definitely at some point it stops working, which is interesting. And
yeah,
it's interesting seeing that come off and not have people have it like glued to their skin.
Yeah, honestly.
Okay, dry curls.
I think that Cool. I don't know. I like heatless curls. Is that what you're thinking about? Okay. I love a good heatless curl. I think it's great. I think it's easy and convenient, especially for those who only have time at night to get ready and then just wake up and you roll with it. Love them.
Yeah. I think they're so cool.
Yeah.
I'm like just like impressed with what's coming out on the market with it.
I know.
As well.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, and you started in hair. I started in hair. So I'm like, it kind of brings back some of the memories where I'm like, okay, this would have been so nice to have in school when we fried someone's hair off doing 40 volume blonde.
Yeah.
Just a few hours.
Exactly. Well, yeah. And especially for those people who do have color treated hair, having an option that won't like just completely ruin the follicle of your hair is great. So
look, I'm there with you. What are your feelings on gua sha or facial sculpting?
I love a good gua sha. I think that there definitely has benefits. I do think that some of them are blown out of proportion.
Yes.
But like to anything, there's only a certain amount that it can do. Is it going to completely change your facial structure? No. However, is it great with like lymph and depuffing and all that stuff? Absolutely.
Yes. Yay. I love it. What are your feelings on ice baths or cold plunges?
That's a really good question. I don't really have a super like hard stance on this. I think that if people feel great after doing it, that's fine. But there's also science behind it that says that it's not super great for everybody. So I think it depends. It varies from person to person. Like anything, I think it just depends on the individual.
Totally.
Yeah.
I love it. I've never tried it myself and I don't know if I could. I'm like interested, but I'm like, I don't know. I've done like a polar bear plunge when I was younger and I remember that, and then jumping in a hot spring. So I'm like, that was enough for me.
Yeah, I grew up in Montana, so like going swimming in glacial like lakes in the fall was pretty standard. We wouldn't like do it for fun, but like it would be like, okay, who can last the longest in, Lake McDonald and it's freezing. So
oh my gosh. Yeah, freezing all year round too. Yeah. I cannot imagine. Well, so you've done a lot. I love it as a kid. What are your feelings on Botox and fillers?
I think, I go back and forth on this one. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that if they're done appropriately with a trusted professional, it's good. I do think that they should be administered by nurses. Filler is a difficult one for me. I think that it is an absolute life changer for certain people. For other people, I'm like, well, we need to like reel that back in. And because we don't have extensive research on like long-term effects of filler and Botox, it makes me a little weary.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like that kind of backs up with like your foundation of skincare too. Like that is so clear of what it does. And so it's like probably challenging for you where it's like, this is not, there's not a definite,
like I said, some people, they absolutely love it.
I don't know.
Yeah. Some people love it and some people hate it. And so I'm just kind of like, what really boils down to what makes you feel great. So
I love that. I'm there for it as well. I agree. I'm like, whatever people want to do, I'm for it. But I love asking these questions because it's interesting. I in beauty school was part of my beauty school gifted us Botox. And so when I was 22, I got over 100. Well, it was like $140. So it was like 14 units. It wasn't that much of Botox. Yeah. But seeing like face without Botox or without movement. And then for me, after having kids, I've now like gone natural. And it's interesting. I'm like, do I need it now? Do I not? And it's like, I don't know. It's fun to be natural.
It is fun to be natural. It's definitely interesting. My mom got it and she's in her 50s now, and seeing her go from being like a very expressive and like, you can just tell everything that she's thinking on her face to like her brows not moving. I was like, this is alarming. Really alarming. Yeah. So
what happened? Are you mad?
I know. Like, are you good? How are you feeling right now?
No, Mom. Well, I hope she gets some movement back soon.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Well, yeah, I was talking to one of my friends the other day about it, and like those experiences I love because in beauty school, since we got to see some people that have like spot brows or some of the other things, and it was really cool to get. But I agree with you. Save it for the nurses. There's so many just like details in that area and everything else.
Yep. I 100% stand behind like have a nurse inject something into your face, please.
Yeah. Yes.
So
Awesome. So next one is beef tallow for moisturizer.
I don't love it. I really don't. And the reason why I don't love is I think it's overhyped. Do I think it's the worst thing in the world? No. But I don't love it. I think a lot of people, it's a little bit of a placebo effect. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I do have some clients that love it and they use it on their body. Sure, fine, whatever. Use it on your body. I don't care. On your face, I'm definitely more weary. So not my go-to.
Yeah. Well, and it's a hard one right now because there are not that many companies that have it with like actual stability in it. And so it's like, what is going on? Where was this like sourced from and all that?
Yeah. And, I feel like the thing that I'm constantly arguing against is that it's been around. Well, it's been around for such a long time and they used it and it's identical. People, I hear this all the time. It drives me crazy. It's identical to sebum. And I'm like, it's really not. Sebum is almost completely impossible to replicate to like its entirety. So, that's a tough one. I think it's my dislike for it more comes from the people who are like proactive. It's like, we love beef tallow and they're like diehards.
Nah. Well, and it's interesting that people like go like the really natural side of things because it's like, okay, we can still do organic and natural, but like it's just interesting. So
yeah.
Okay, next one we have two more. Snail mucin.
I've got I don't know. It's fine, I guess. I think it's just one of those trendy things that people like to try. Like, if it works great for your skin, great. Is it the holy grail for everybody? No.
Okay, perfect. So last one's kind of similar, but when I was doing research, there's been a little bit of a rage of colostrum skincare, and I was like, what the heck is this? So I had to put it to my list because I was like, this is weird. And actually, one of the people I interviewed was telling me that in her early career, there was a company down the road from her that was doing colostrum facials, and she had actually called them, and it was a woman that was providing breast milk, and they were like doing colostrum facials. They ended up getting shut down, but I was like, okay, that is what's absurd, and I'm glad I asked this question, but I was also like, what the heck? So now I'm like, this is a must on my list.
That's crazy. I mean, colostrum's got tons of benefits. Having a spa put it from like a local mom on your face is alarming.
Yeah. Well, I know what colostrum, that one I've seen, and I was like doing some research, and I'm like on the fence. I'm like, I don't know. I'd used colostrum and pills for gut biome, and that was successful and made sense, and like my brain works. But I'm like, I don't know. This is interesting.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is that the microbes that reside in your gut are different than the microbes that reside on your skin. And so their needs and nutrition are completely different. And because colostrum is meant to be digested, I don't foresee it like causing harm to your skin, but getting like the same drastic effect that you would like ingesting it. I think it's just different. So,
yeah. Oh, I love that perspective. Okay, amazing. So we're done with our hot or not. So
okay.
I really love that. I'm like trying to figure out too when I'm gonna put it in with my person that's editing these like into the episodes. But I'm like, maybe it will just be like a spark that I do like as a rapid fire. But I've just been loving everybody's answers to these questions. So I really appreciate that.
No worries.
Well, so last question that I really would love to know is, what is one ritual or skincare product or something that you can't live without?
Oh my gosh. So honestly, my holy grail product that I want everybody, and I mean literally everybody, and I say that, and I don't say this about many things, is a live probiotic mist. I'm obsessed.
Amazing.
It's through S, obviously. It is like groundbreaking technology that everybody can use, from the most sensitive to the most oily to the most dry skin types. Everybody can use this. And it's amazing. Like, I was dealing with like the worst case of perioral like that I had ever dealt with when I was coming out of the like postpartum area with my daughter. Could not clear it up for the world. Was using nothing on my face for the longest time. Could not clear it up. I started using this spray within a week. Gone. Like, it was amazing. And every client that I send home, I get like a text 3 days later and they're like, oh my gosh, my skin has never felt better. And I'm like, it's amazing. So good. Yeah.
Oh my God. Amazing. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. I definitely want to try it out. Well, this has been amazing. I really appreciate talking with you. I would love for you to share with our listeners where they can connect with you, find you, if they want to reach out to you or hear more.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am located in Castle Rock, Colorado. I am also on Instagram at Novum Skin, and you can also find me on Facebook with the same tag. So just Novum Skin. And those are my two big sources of social media. I'm starting to dabble in TikTok a little bit. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not very good at it. I feel like I'm a little old for TikTok.
It's a hard one.
It is a hard one. But
Yeah.
yes, I'm on TikTok as well. So.
Okay. I love that. Well, we will put all that in the show notes so everyone can find you. And I really appreciate your time. And it was great talking with you.
Yeah, it was great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for being a part of this space and for listening to today's episode of Beauty Talk Confessions. I wanted to take a moment and recognize our amazing sponsors, Prickly Bear, a desert-curated post-hair removal skincare line with pre- and post-care products created to support healthy skin beyond the treatment room, launching this summer. If this conversation resonated with you, make sure to follow the show and share it with someone in the beauty industry. Staying connected is how we grow, learn, and support each other. You can also follow us on Instagram at Beauty Talk Confessions and Prickly Bear for updates, behind the scenes, and more conversations like this. And if you have a moment, leaving a review helps this podcast reach more people who need this conversation too, and it would mean the world to me. This is Beauty Talk Confessions, and I'll see you next week.